Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben Parks, 225 Marathon, and today I put a list together of my 5 top tips so you can go out there and smash your next marathon. Maybe get you that PB that you deserve, but most importantly, go out there and have an amazing time enjoying this amazing experience that is running the marathon. So sit back, relax, let's get stuck into this. Let's get this done. The first tip we're going to talk about is pacing. It is such an important part of marathon racing. We don't want to get halfway through, a quarter of the way through and completely blow up. And how are we not going to do that? By making a good pacing strategy throughout the race. Now there's 2 different schools of thought on this. My way, which I prefer, is just to try and keep a nice even pace throughout. So if I want to run a sub 3 hour marathon, 4:15 a K, 6:52 pace, I try and make my first K at that pace and just keep it the same all the way out. If I'm feeling okay at the end, I'll try and pick it up. That's what I try and do. The second school of thought is to start out a little bit slower, so a little bit behind your goal pace. So if we use that example there, 6:52 a mile, you might start off at 7-minute miling and just ease into it. It can be a little bit of a bun fight at the start, quite a lot going on. So just take that pressure off, just ease into the race. Then maybe after about 5 or 6K, move up to your marathon goal pace. And then towards the end of the race, maybe with about that sort of 10K to go, just pick it up a little bit more and finish strong. Now what's important with both of these strategies is not going out too fast, which so many people do. They think it's marathon, I'm gonna go out fast and bank loads of time. Please, please don't do that. It never ends well. So how are we going to go about this in practice? Well, you can use our watch GPS. I'd recommend always looking at your lap pace rather than your overall pace. Just run the mile or kilometre that you're in, and every K or every mile, just look down, making sure you're going to hit the right pace for that mile. Or obviously you can use a pace group that might be out there depending on what marathon you're running, and you can just have some experienced people pace you around, and you can forget about all of this because they'll do all the hard work. Right guys, just quickly, today's question of the day. If you had to give one top tip for someone that is running a marathon, what would you say to your best friend, your work colleague, someone out there? What would you say is your best tip for the next marathon? Share the love down in the comments below and help out the community. Moving on to number 2, we're going to have a chat about nutrition and hydration before and during the race. So essentially beforehand, breakfast, just have what you'd normally have. Don't go researching what all the pros are having and all this sort of thing, whatever you would normally have. For me, I have peanut butter and jam on bagels. It's what I've always had and it works well for me. So you can by all means try that out in your training, but don't try those new things on race day. Well, I like to do that 2 to 3 hours before the race. And then after I've had that, I just like to sip on a bit of water and a bit of Morton, or any old sports drink really, just to top up those carbohydrate levels, and just keep doing that all the way up to the start line. And then during the race, I like to have a gel around about every 30 to 45 minutes. Plus, I like to have one on the start line as well, just before we are ready to get going. And that just keeps the carbohydrate stores topped up nicely throughout the race, and try to keep that dreaded bonk, that dreaded hitting the wall at bay. In terms of hydration during the race, I really just like to have water a little bit and often, just probably around about each aid station, just topping up those levels, just drinking to thirst. That's the essential thing. Don't go having more water than you think you need. If you're thirsty, have some water. If they're giving out sports drinks on the course and you've used it in your training, you've done your research, then by all means take that on board as well. If it's a particularly hot day, you might like to think about some electrolytes to replace some of that salt that will be sweated out during the day as well. Right, moving on to number 3, we'll have a chat about the all-important kit that we are going to be wearing on the day. Now, the golden rule with all of this running is not trying anything new. Don't go buying stuff at the expo. Even if you tried some of these things before, don't get a brand new pair out on the day. Everything needs to be tried and tested to know that it's going to be okay for you. So I'd never wear a pair of brand new shoes for a race. It would always have a few long runs in them. They're going to be fine on race day because they've been okay in your training. So I really would say at a bare minimum, for the month before you race, you want to be practicing in your race day kit. So get your preferred shoes on, your preferred socks, your singlet, sports bra for the ladies out there, shorts, whatever it is, obviously your race day hat, but these always work fine because you get them off the best website in the world, benparks.com. So other things we can do on race day to potentially minimize the things that are going wrong is to use things like Body Glide, which is just a sort of a lubricated thing we can put on anything that moves, basically whack that all over the body, and to really minimize any sort of chafing. If it's a particularly hot day out there, make sure you're putting some sunscreen on. We're going to be out exposed for potentially 3, 4, 5+ hours out there. Get your hat, obviously, to protect yourself from the sun. And of course, the final thing for the men especially, get some plasters on those nipples. We don't want to be causing any chafing in that sort of area. You'll be good to go and have a fantastic race. Quickly guys, you are funny as usual, please like this video. Answer today's question of the day is, what is your marathon top tip? If you don't already, hit that subscribe button for loads of useful running tips and tricks to help you on your running journey. So my fourth tip is to get the kit list checklist. Now you can download this off my website. I'll link to it down below. And it's a complete checklist of everything we think you're going to need for a successful race day marathon. So I say at least 2 weeks before, start packing your bag, especially if you're going to be traveling, and make sure you have absolutely everything in there. There is nothing worse than getting to a race and getting stressed about trying to find your safety pins, trying to find your favorite socks because you've forgotten them, having to go to the supermarkets and getting all of this stuff. Get this prepared at least 2 weeks before the race, and I promise you, you'll be on the start line nice and relaxed, nice and chilled, and ready to go out there and absolutely smash your race because everything's gone well in the build-up. And finally, high five, number 5, when you're talking about nerves and mindset going into the race. This can affect, well, I guarantee it affects everybody. Everybody on that start line will be nervous to some extent, me included, and I've done nearly 100 of these marathons. But in the few days leading up, look back over your training. I guarantee you, no one has had a perfect training block. I always use this little rule of it. If you hit about 80% of your training into the build up to the race, it's going to go pretty well. So don't worry too much. If you missed a few long runs, you've missed a couple of sessions, it happens to everybody. It doesn't mean you're not going to get round well. Yes, you might have got round a little bit better, but you can still go out there and still achieve a fantastic result. Also, it's really important, try not to compare your long runs to what race day is going to be like. Race day is so much easier. There's massive crowds, there's people handing you drinks, there's music as you go around, and there's people handing you nutrition and stuff out there. It's just an amazing party atmosphere. You don't get any of that on your long runs. 99% of the people that cross the start line of the marathon will also cross the finish line of the marathon as well. So you may be thinking, I'm never going to get round, but pretty much everybody always does. Yes, it's going to be some difficult bits on the way, but crossing that finish line of the marathon feels amazing, and I know you can do it as well. It's just another long run. Yes, probably the longest run you'll have done for a very long time. But with all of that race atmosphere, everyone will be there willing you round, willing each other around. It really helps, and it creates this amazing camaraderie of all the runners going round together. I've heard stories of people making friends as they go around during these races. So really do your best. I know it's easier said than done to put those nerves towards the back of your head and go out there and have this amazing celebration. So there we have it guys, my 5 top tips to get you an amazing race day experience out there. Of course, let me know your best tips down below in the comments and share that love with the community. And of course, come back after the race, let me know how you get on. It would be great to have a catch up down there as well. And finally, please check out the website. We've got the amazing training plans on there. They really will help you in the whole build up to your next marathon as well. And of course, the best gear, the best running hats in the business. So check that out. Thank you all the Patreon legends, the supporters here on YouTube as well. We couldn't do all this stuff without you. So thank you so much. Keep on working hard guys, and keep on getting it done, and we will see you in the next one.